well on the road recently? What have you specifically liked about the 3-point looks you're getting?
Just off general ball movement. I thought the guys have really done a good job spacing. I thought, what Spence and Peyton have been doing with some of these junky, defenses we've seen, they've really done a good job of knowing when to cut, when to stay spaced. And then just Cam's confidence, where it's at, and then what Jamal's been doing. Nicole's been shooting the ball as good as anybody in the world. It's been good. Our offense has obviously been extremely impactful all season long, so it has to continue, but it has to be the right kind of looks, the shots that, we want to create, and so far we've done that.
Obviously, you guys are familiar with Nikhil, but what kind of stands out about Atlanta's defensive personnel in terms of game planning for them?
Yeah, I mean, him and Dyson and the way they turn people over, they're a top 10 defense for a reason. I think their offense obviously is going to trend with Jalen back and Porzingis. This team is extremely deep. There's a reason why people were talking about them to do something special this year with the way the East is breaking down. And if they can get fully healthy with those two defensive guys up front, not to mention they can both create offensively, and you add all the talent around them, and Trey comes back at some point, all of a sudden they're as deep as anybody, especially in the Eastern Conference. So seeing those two guys back tonight, we'll get a good idea of who they actually are.
Yeah, with Jalen presumably back tonight, I mean, what he does in transition, is there, what types of things can you do to take that away as a coach? Because it's tough, it's not like half court where you can, scheme it a little more.
Yeah, I think you have to show early bodies. He reminds me a lot of some of these. I just think he hasn't gotten the respect yet he's got to get. But if you allow him to break the 3-point line, you're in trouble. We have to wall up earlier. Because once he's in the paint and he's slow stepping and he's playmaking and he's finishing around the rim, he just creates so many problems. And now their shooting actually matters. You have to bring two to the ball. So the earlier you can do that to cut him off and make him play further away from the basket, the better off you're going to be. He's a very, very special player. Will have the ability to be a multi-time All-Star, in my opinion. He's a problem, and we have to do it as a team. It's not going to be on one individual player with a guy that big and that skilled coming down the floor.
Dave, what did you think when they got Porzingis and how he would fit in and play alongside two-man game with Trey, but also do everything that he does?
Yeah, he puts you in a predicament, right? I mean, it's how Boston was too. He picks and pops, and you have to make a decision on, you want to full rotate, do you want to switch, which allows Trey and Jalen to play in space easier. Not to mention, I think Porzingis over the years hasn't got enough credit for taking smalls. When you do switch, taking to the nail. I give Boston a lot of credit. They really leaned into that, and they made sure that he was a part of their offense, not just a guy that was rolling, getting out of the way, or picking and popping and then going to space. They actually featured him at the nail and made it a problem for you. He's gotten better over the years at that. So, that'll be an issue for us tonight if we decide to, game plan it that way or change our game plan. We decide to switch some things or, junk up the defense. Our smalls will have to sit down and guard him and do the best they can at contesting without fouling. He's does a good job getting the line too if you're too aggressive with him. We all know what it is. A guy that big that shoots it like that from all over the gym with all the talent they already have, he brings a lot of problems.
You basically answered my question, but is there one or two things that you would like to do better tonight than you did in the last game?
Just be more consistent throughout the whole game. I thought the Indiana game, we showed so much defensive energy in the second quarter. I thought the third quarter was really good for the first 6 minutes, and then it kind of went away, and the guys looked gassed again. So we just have to rotate it as best we can to create that defensive intensity throughout the game. This is going to be, it's a real challenge with those guys back. Like I said, that provides more depth for them, provides guys to play more in their role, which always is what people should be doing. Just consistency on the defensive end, and please keep the offense the same.
Just following up on sort of what you mentioned about the spacing with Spencer and some of that stuff. What goes into the process sort of with the quick adjustments when someone like that is suddenly in the starting lineup, as far as when to put him in the dunker, when to have him in a corner, when to bring him in as a screener, that sort of thing? Obviously, some teams have put their centers on him too. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's, you go into the game and we run our continuity stuff, and that stuff is more multi-positional. Everybody screens for each other, rip screens, pin downs, snapping the ball inside, all those things. And then as you see the game go, and you see if Spence has it going that night, or Peyton in Memphis the one night, if somebody's got it going, then they become more of a spacer in the corner as opposed to being the guy in the dunker. And that's just what it is, especially when we're just this is like a lineup we're just trying to figure out until we get healthy. So it's a night-to-night thing as opposed to the bench, which is different. Tim's Tim. We know where Jonas is going to be. The starting groups actually become kind of a mystery night to night of who's going to do what, how to space them correctly, especially in Jamal's pet plays and Nicole's post-ups. You kind of feel out the game as it goes, and I think the guys have been really unselfish about understanding, hey, Spence has it going tonight, I'm going to allow him to have the corner. If they're delving a certain way, I'll become the cutter that creates a 2-on-1, 3-on-2 on the backside, which would create paint threes through Nicole's post-ups when we see double teams. So it's a night-to-night thing.
Kind of on that note, how are you watching teams defend Nikola Jokic in the first couple minutes of the games and making adjustments based on that?
Yeah, you almost have to put him in because he plays every spot. So right away you see matchups, you know if they're going to cross match. If they do cross match, they're probably coming from the biggest guy. The other night they came from the second person regardless of who it was, and we did a great job in the second half. Jamal really had it going, so we put him over there and we cut somebody through, which allowed a 2-on-1 on the backside, and Jamal kept making shots. It's every night is different with him. Everybody's got to have something unique for him because he is as unique as it gets offensively. So how they guard him at the elbow, they fronting him, how they guard him in the post, and our 5-out stuff, our pick and rolls. And the pick and roll is more him and Jamal of how are they in zero coverage, drop, are they switching to hit, all those kind of things. So it's you try to get as many play calls as you can those first 6 minutes to give yourself a good idea of how you can attack them in timeout plays. And those guys in general, like how they're going to attack it in the flow, and they've seen everything. So it's not like I have to call timeout and let them know. They're very conditioned of all the things they've seen.
Good, cool. Thanks,
Thanks, guys.